On the Racing Insiders this week, we go to the DTM race at Oschersleben. We have an exclusive conversation with Joey Hand. V8 Supercars in Sandown. The World Rally Championship is in Australia. We've got comments from the winner there, Sébastien Ogier, probably going to be the champion. Formula Drift at Fort Worth, Texas. An enormous race, a lot of speed for drifting. And Are You Kiddin' Me? Next on the Racing Insiders. Welcome back to another edition of the Racing Insiders. I'm Bill Wood in Los Angeles. Jeff Lepper is in Northern California from the Pirelli World Challenge. One of the voices there, Jim Daniels and Peter Keane, are at the 50th running of the Run Offs. We'll hear from them a little later in the broadcast. Right now, let's go to Oschersleben, the DTM, German Touring Car Championship. And we've got a great race won by the BMWs. Jeff, you know a little more about that.
Yeah, I tell you what, Augusto Farfus did a really great job, led a majority of the race, really took over after the second pit stop, but Mike Rockenfeller finished second, maintains his points lead. He had a 35 points going into this race. Now he has a 33-point lead now. Jamie Green in third, finishing your podium in DTM 4, the 400th race of the DTM series.
Wow. Very happy, very pleased to be on podium again, especially being on the highest level.
It was an incredible race. The Audis won 8 of the top 10 places. They didn't win the race, but they're working themselves into a position to get Mike Rockenfeller's championship, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing to see the team work with that. I thought we were going to see some team orders because at one point during the race, Jamie Green was ahead of Rockenfeller, and I'm like, okay, here we go. We're going to see them pull over with all the controversy we've had and all the media in the last week. It even stretches across the pond all the way into Germany, but that didn't happen. It happened on pit strategy for them. The biggest guy I got a feel for, however, is Bruno Spengler. Qualified on the pole. Unfortunately, he used his qualifying 4 tires in qualifying 3. That gave him a 5-grid penalty. Then he gets into an incident with fellow Canadian Robert Wickens. Those guys both out of the race now.
It was an incredible thing to have that happen, and we're starting to see, I don't know if it's just the confluence, the stars aligning or whatever, but this whole team orders thing has started to take over all of racing, or at least it's coming to the surface because it's always been there. We talked to Joey Hand at the event, got this exclusive comment from him about team orders and his season. Here's Joey Hand.
It just seems like it's one thing or another, you know. We've had pace. Every weekend we have pace sometime, and we do things right sometime, you know. And even from my standpoint, you know, one race I didn't qualify well. This time we had a little mishap, you know. Now we have contact. It seems like it's just one thing or another every race. I'm just chalking it up to a little dry spell, a little bad spell here, you know. But like I said, I think the stuff I'm learning, you know, like my starts, the last 3 races have been good, and this one's been my best start. And that's some of the stuff that hurt me at the beginning of the year. So things are coming together piece by piece. Now, if I can just get everything to happen in the same race, then maybe we have a good result. Team orders, I mean, we don't have a lot of team order issues here. You know, where I race, I don't see it. You know, I hear about it in F1 and things like that, but in my racing, we don't have these issues. You know, so for me, it's not a big issue at all. I think everybody's talking about this NASCAR thing that happened, but yeah, I mean, I don't think, you know, I think some of the things that's been in the news lately is special circumstances, you know, like the NASCAR chase and all these things happening. I mean, I think, again, for me, even where it's allowed, we haven't had an issue with it. You know, we don't even deal with it. You know, so the places where I race, we race to win. We race in the position we race from, and I haven't had to deal with team orders, thankfully.
You know, Jeff, Joey is quite a driver. Certainly he's fast, but fast at DTM is a whole other frame of reference. The points leader, Mike Rockenfeller, had a couple of years for him to learn how to work his way and maneuver his way through the field, and now he's the points leader, probably going to be champion. I don't know if Joey could be champion in DTM, but he's getting fast from the top 10 to the top 5, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. I was listening to him talk in an interview about how the difference between this car and his Team Rahal car was how the DTM cars have way more downforce, a little less power, versus his American Le Mans Series car, which is more power but less downforce. He's coming to Circuit of Americas here next week to run that car, so it's going to be a big transition for him. I think for him to succeed in DTM, he needs to stay over there and focus on DTM.
You have to stay involved, know the tracks, know the people, and the people to know you. And I had a guy here that was in NASCAR for a while, lived in Atlanta and not in Charlotte, and the teams just didn't like him for some reason. They want to see you around. They want to know that you're spending as much time with the car as they are. Right after this, V8 Supercars. The Red Bull team dominating everything in Sandown. We'll hear about that right after this. The Racing Insiders will be right back.
Let us know what you think about what the Racing Insiders have to say. Tell us on Facebook and Twitter. Want to keep up with all the racing action at the track? Well, download the new Go Racing TV iPhone and Android app. And remember to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Welcome back to the Racing Insiders. I'm Bill Wood in Los Angeles with Jeff Lepper, who's in Northern California. Let's get right to the V8 Supercars in Australia. You can't believe how Jamie Whincup is dominating the series this year. Going for his, fifth championship and his third in a row. Is that right, Jeff?
Yeah. He won the championship in 08. He won it again in 2011, 2012, and 09. So he's looking for his third in a row, fifth overall, kind of dominating in V8 Supercars right now.
Almost 100-point lead this late in the season. It's going to be difficult for him to get beaten, but his closest challenger for the championship is his teammate Craig Lowndes on the Red Bull team. And like every place else in racing, they have team orders. I doubt that Lowndes is going to be allowed, although Lowndes has won a championship himself. I doubt that he's going to be allowed, shall we say, to beat Jamie to the punch, even if that becomes an issue later in the year. What about the race at Sandown?
Well, I'll tell you what, I keep saying, I'll tell you what, that's my catchphrase, I guess now, but I'll tell you what, the first endurance race of the year, we had Ryan Briscoe returning. We'll hear from him a little bit later to the Sandown 500, so team drivers come into play. I got a feel for Mark Winterbottom, though. He had his Steve Richards joining him, stalls it on the line. They have to come through the pits to do a reset. That actually made it better for him. Near the end, Frosty was leading, had a left front tire problem during their final pit stop. That dropped him all the way back to sixth. And you talk about team orders. Craig Lowndes, if they're having team orders, they're really making it good because Craig Lowndes, right at the early stage or late stages of the race, ran off course. That allowed Whincup to get on the inside of him, and then it was Whincup for the win.
The V8 Supercars, those guys, they do some serious racing. They talk about rubbing as racing. That's some serious racing in V8 Supercars. The tires in each corner, it's like bicycle through the turns. It's great racing, that like we saw at the Circuit of the Americas earlier this year back in May. And they're good guys. I've talked to some of them. They're really good drivers, and for some reason they want to come to the United States and race in NASCAR. Don't understand that, but that's another issue altogether. One of the guys that has made a name here in the United States, IndyCar driver Ryan Briscoe, went back to Sandown. Let's hear what he had to say.
Oh, it's good. Yeah, it's really nice to be back here in Sandown. It's been many years, but any chance I get to come race the V8s, it's a good time for me. Back in 2006 was a great debut for me in the V8s. I remember, we had a great car and everything went quite well in practice and qualifying. We had a little hiccup in the race, but I'm looking forward to it. I hope I feel just as comfortable in the car as I did back then. All the feedback has been very positive about the new car this year, and definitely Walkinshaw Racing has been doing a great job with it. it's been exciting to see their results improving throughout the year, getting a few race wins. So I'm excited. The team is really pumped up, and I'm looking forward to getting in the super cheap auto car and having a run with Russell.
Briscoe is from Australia. He likes to go back once in a while and kind of touch the nerve of where he started racing down there. I don't blame him. The V8 Supercars are really tough racing, and the guys are really, they really show their ability to handle a car, and they turn left and right. That's why I don't understand why they want to go back to just turning left. And other than the ones that I've talked to, they all talk about coming to the United States, I guess, to get paid. All drivers want to get paid. Don't you find that in the Pirelli World Challenge, Jeff?
Well, I wish we could all get paid racing there when I raced, man. That would have been nice. But no, I mean, I think Ryan Briscoe's, he's starting to become one of those journeymen. He reminds me of a Memo Gidley kind of deal, going to sports cars, Indy cars, V8 Supercars. He kind of seems that he's going to be the go-to guy when somebody needs a fill-in. I really hope he can get a full-time ride. Maybe that is in V8 Supercars.
You know, it's funny that Memo told me once when he was in IndyCar and wanted to stay there, said he would never drive in sports cars. Funny how times change when you want to get paid. That's the magic word of the day. Let's get paid. So let's go to the World Rally Championship. Rally Australia. We'll have that. When we come back, a championship is at stake, and you'll be surprised. The guy wanted to wait until later. Speaking of team orders, wanted to wait until later to get his championship so he can do it in France. We're on the Racing Insiders right after this.
This segment of the Racing Insiders was brought to you by GoRacingTV.com. For racers, by racers.
Welcome back to the Racing Insiders. Bill Wood in Los Angeles and Jeff Lepper from the Pirelli World Challenge Series. I got that right, Jeff. You'll have me saying that in my sleep now. The Pirelli World Challenge Championship. Let's go to the Rally Australia right now, the World Rally Championship. Points leader, Volkswagen driver Sébastien Ogier from France dominated the early going in the event, so much so that he was concerned about winning the championship. He wanted to actually close the deal at Rally France the first weekend in October, but he fought as hard as he could, pulled that back. I can imagine the people at Volkswagen said, hey, hold back on that. And he did. He just kept winning stages on Saturday, and on Sunday it was close. He had to be 9 points ahead of Terry Neuville driving the M Sport Ford, but on the power stage, Mikko Hirvonen had a flat, fell back, allowed Neuville to come in second. The extra points took away some of that lead that Sébastien Ogier had, and he only won by 8 points instead of the 9 he needed. So he is going to get a chance to close the deal on his championship, and I think it's going to be a championship at Rally France.
I had the feeling during a few seconds that was done. With Julian, we were starting to celebrate it, but immediately on the radio, Sven told us that congrats guys, you win the race, but not the championship yet. Mikko got a puncture. And then said, no, how that it's possible. But okay, still we keep it with a smile, and that's motorsports, and at the end it's even better for Volkswagen.
And it's probably also going to be the last round for Sébastien Loeb from France. I think he's going to be running in that event. 9-time champion. He's going to close the deal there. And Ogier and Loeb, they ran together at Citroën. I think Ogier wants to really say, hey, dude, this is my title now and my time. If you had a chance to do that, Jeff, wouldn't you want to do that?
Oh, absolutely. I would like nothing more to win a championship in my home rally. But I know Ogier wants to go out with a win, and especially if Sébastien Loeb is there. I think Ogier's, are we looking to see him maybe be the new Sébastien in World Rally? He has the chance to do that, and he's going to make that happen at Rally France.
Yeah, I think it would be a good thing for his ego. They really butted heads. You talk about team orders. They butted heads a couple of times when they both ran at Citroën. And Ogier, I think, once ignored team orders for half a day before somebody pulled him aside and said, dude, what are you doing? That straightened everything out. When Loeb wants to win, Loeb wins. Let's go to Formula Drift in Texas, a high-speed event. It was one of the fastest tracks in the whole Formula Drift series. 100-mile-an-hour plus entry speeds for some of these guys, but a guy that I like, Michael Essa, got his second win of the year. He won in Florida, and now he won this event, withstood everyone and drove better, just drove a better event. And there were guys that were going off, picking early apexes, going off into the weeds there at Texas Motor Speedway. The first time they've been in the Dallas area since 2005 for Formula Drift. It was a good round and a fire. You don't see that much in Formula Drift. A fire, Jeff?
Yeah, Ryan Cato in the night practice there. Actually, it looked like a fuel line came off of his car. When you've ever seen a car in a wind tunnel with the smoke going over the roof and the hood, it looked like that, but it was just solid fire. He got out okay. They got that car repaired. He came back. Unfortunately, didn't quite make the top 32, but at least he was out there, trying to give it a run.
Michael Essa got the win, builds Porsches and BMWs for guys to win championships in amateur racing here in the United States. And he won that event. He won it going away. Beat Matt Field in the final. Field came in second. 2009 champion Chris Forsberg finished third. Are You Kiddin' Me is coming up next. Things bumping around in our heads. You know that's a dangerous place to be. The Racing Insiders. We'll be right back. Are You Kiddin' Me is next.
This segment is brought to you by Safe Racer. Want to keep up with all the racing action at the track? Well, download the new Go Racing TV iPhone and Android app. And remember to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Are you kidding me?
Are You Kiddin' Me? One of our favorite segments, yours too, from what you tell us. We got Are You Kiddin' Me's from Peter Keane and Jim Daniels. They're at the 50th anniversary of the Run Offs at Road America. Here's what they had to say.
I got to tell you, my Are You Kidding Me is what a ding dong I am. I put my Run Offs package motor together. We go down Irish Mike, we dyno tune it to the best. We take it down to Sebring. I run a couple of test sessions at Sebring. Everything's perfect. It's a great motor package. What do you know? A camshaft that I've been waiting for 5 months comes along. So Tuesday of this last week, we put the camshaft in, dyno the motor. We lose 10 horsepower through the whole rev range. Then we go back and put the motor back like we had it. We're down 4 from where we were. Cardinal sin, do not change your Run-Offs motor. We do not race dynos, we race cars.
My Are You Kidding Me is centered around rules everywhere. We got protests, we got race decided after the fact. We apparently broke the mold on that. What happens on TV cannot be changed. That's not the case anymore. Actually, you can change it. Something can happen on TV, and I know we don't cover NASCAR on this, but it affects all series that involved with racing. You have a guy intentionally spins Clint Boyer. The sanctioning body comes down and says, "Hey, that's unsportsmanlike. That's not going to happen." I'm wondering, this is the same NASCAR that's be sanctioning our new United Sports Car Series next year. Are we going to see some of these calls where the winners of the race on TV aren't really the winners? The 7th place finishers on TV aren't really the 7th place finishers? What is in store for us next year when these two sports car bodies we've been talking about all year are unified? It's going to be very interesting.
Jeff Lepper, Pirelli World Challenge, what's going on in your head?
I got to go with Chris Meek in the factory Citroen at World Rally Australia. He steps in for Danny Sordo, gets the nod to move all the way up to basically a world championship team, crashes out on day 2 when he was told just to finish the rally. The team gets the car repaired. He comes back out in Rally 2 rules, crashes again. Are you kidding me?
It is incredible. You know, I was going to do something else, but I want to talk about that a minute. When Juan Pablo Montoya, who just announced he's coming back to IndyCar, when he was driving for McLaren in F1, the same thing kind of happened. Kimi Räikkönen probably could have won a second championship in F1 if Montoya could have finished a couple of rounds, including one that he was leading. Could have had a second championship beside the one he had in 2008. Are you kidding me? That's when you need team orders to get championships. And when team orders don't work, it's kind of sad. That's what's going on in our minds. Next, the calendar for the week and what's going on the weekend. Next, Racing Insiders will be right back. Welcome back to the Racing Insiders. On the calendar this week, the ALMS is at Circuit of the Americas, and there's going to be kind of a celebration, a coronation maybe for the Muscle Milk team, Lucas Luhr and Klaus Graf. They've already won the championship in P1. We've got the Global Rallycross in Charlotte. A new car, watch for this, a new car for Dave Mirra, who's not going to be in a Subaru, and I think it's going to be a Mini. You can tell me if I'm wrong on that. World Touring Car Championship is at Suzuka in Japan, and the Playboy Mazda MX-5 Cup is at Coronado Naval Base down north of San Diego, North County, San Diego. Really a high-dollar area. Nice place, though. Jeff, what do you have planned for the weekend?
Well, I'm going to leave on a jet plane. I'm going to head over and go to the 50th Run Offs or SCCA and join Peter Keane and Jim Daniels up there in Wisconsin. And I'll be calling all the action. Tune in live at SCCA.com.
That'll be a cool thing. The World Challenge and the Pirelli World Challenge, you do that regularly, and then you're going to be doing the call on this SCCA Run Offs?
Absolutely, yeah. Join us live with Randy Popes as my co-host. So it's going to be I say party because that's really what it is, but we'll actually be able to talk in between, and there'll be some racing going on as well.
Randy Popes, good guy. That's Racing Insiders for this week. Pay attention to what's going on. It's really going to be an interesting thing at Global Rallycross with Dave Mirra leaving Subaru and going to run his own car. He's a monster athlete. He's probably going to be in a Mini with Liam Duran. That's not guaranteed. He wouldn't verify that to me, but it'll be an interesting thing to watch. That's the Racing Insiders for this week. Jeff Lepper, Pirelli World Challenge, and the SCCA Run Offs. So Northern California, Jim Daniels, Memphis, Tennessee, and Peter Keane in Cocoa Beach, Florida. They're at the SCCA Run Offs. I wish them a lot of luck. We heard them complain about who was faster last week. We'll have a chance to see who maybe comes back with a championship. That's all for the Racing Insiders this week. Take care of each other, respect each other. I'm Bill Wood for Jeff Lepper. Look forward to seeing you next week. Peace.